for the position that you shouldn't vote for Harris because other world leaders are misogynistic and wouldn't respect her. I'm so sorry. Don't play dumb.
No, that is exactly what I said, but that I'm not a world leader
That's
who's misogynistic.
wait 1 second. That is absolutely advocating for the position that you shouldn't vote for Harris because she's a woman.
No, it's me saying that the society, unfortunate thing is that it exists.
Which you are deriving the conclusion, therefore you shouldn't vote for her because it exists.
No, I don't. I didn't want to vote for Harris because of what I said in the beginning, which is that her past accomplishments didn't.
Bro, if you're gonna say some crazy shit, at least have the spine to own it, man.
But
like, I don't really understand why. Like, I don't understand why the alt-right is so like snow like for instance, like members on like the alt-right are so like snowflakey, and whenever you call them white supremacists, they call it a slur and deny that they are snowflakes. And it's like, dude, you're obviously a fucking white supremacist directed towards.
Yo, that's wild, dude.
I'm not talking to you. I'm speaking about like members of like the alt-right.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
Like obviously they're fucking white supremacists. They should just own it, right? And that would allow for conversation to be.
So you're trying to say that I'm a misogynist and should just own it?
Well, you gave me the position that other world leaders wouldn't have enough respect for Harris because she's a woman, therefore you shouldn't vote for her, right? And then you're like, oh, I fucking didn't say that. Like,
no,
what?
no. Let's say that every other world leader that's a man around this entire planet has the same view on women that I do. Then I wouldn't feel that way because it's an unfortunate thing that other world leaders have that opinion.
Yes, you're okay, dude. You're saying here's a fact that exists that you think is unfortunate, but you also think this fact that you think exists that you think is unfortunate logically entails the conclusion that therefore you shouldn't vote for Harris. Come on, really? Own it. You think people shouldn't vote for Harris because she's a woman?
No, I didn't even say that people shouldn't vote for her because of that. I said that.
So then, what the fuck are you bringing it up for? This is like a live about
because
Harris
I'll go back to
Trump.
my exact lines. I brought it up because of foreign policy and the way other world leaders will respect her. I said nothing about myself or why the American people shouldn't vote for her. I did not say anything along those lines.
Okay, so the fact that Kamala Harris is a woman is no reason not to vote for her.
Correct. That is not. That is not a reason.
So if that's not a reason to vote for Kamala Harris,
no.
I see its relevancy in this debate.
That is not a reason to not vote for her.
So if that's not a reason to not vote for her, what's the relevance of mentioning it?
Because I had mentioned that I think that Trump will do better with foreign policy and national security.
Would you say that Trump doing better in foreign policy is a reason to vote for Trump and a reason not to vote for Harris?
I see where you're going to go after I say yes to that.
So yeah, so your misogyny is highly concealed because you're saying foreign policy gives you reason to vote against Harris. The reason that you think this gives you reason to vote against Harris is because she's a woman and other leaders are misogynistic. So, right, when we kind of remove the obfuscation and the mud in the water, we derive the conclusion that you think people should vote for Trump instead of Harris because Harris is a woman.
You're good at what you do, Dean. You're good at what you do, brother. But no, man, I've had business. I own a solar company, right? I do solar, right? And I've had business partners who are women, and I've had them do better than men. So why would I look at a leader and say gender defines their ability to lead? If I'm the one, if it's
fucking exactly, you're the one that gave the argument, not me. So yeah, that's kind of the point, right?
Right.
Gender does not define one's ability to lead, and we cannot draw general statements, attitudes, or propositions predicated off of that. Yeah, no, I don't think that gender tells us anything about one's leadership ability.
It doesn't. It makes no difference at all in terms of how I believe. But I'm not other foreign leaders.
Well, sir, I do appreciate you for joining. We got our next guest, Jordan, up in here. Jordan thinks that gender does define one's ability to lead. So I'm going to go and talk to him. Sir, I appreciate you for popping up. Hopefully you'll listen into more of the conversations, and maybe I could change your mind.
I want you to change my mind. I honestly wouldn't mind it. Like my mother, my sister, my girlfriend, my best friends in this entire world. My girlfriend's black. She's bisexual. I have nothing against that side of things when it comes to racism, LGBTQ. I don't like the DEI. I don't like what he did with a lot of things recently, and it's.
Okay, how about let's not tokenize your girlfriend.
Not at all, but I want to show my viewpoint.
You just like so heavily voted against her interests. That's
literally, yeah.
It's crazy.
So do you have an open relationship?
No.
Oh,
Well,
so she likes me.
I'm not gonna let Jordan talk to Serg about his girlfriend. That is so incredibly intrusive upon
He
his
brought
personal
his girlfriend
privacy.
up. Were you not
Yes,
listening?
but I will refuse to allow further conversation between like two bigots go on about her on my live.
Oh, typical Democrat, censoring people.
Oh no, it's not like Trump wants to put people in prison for a year for burning the American flag when the Supreme Court ruled in the 70s that that's protected under the First Amendment right to freedom of expression. Oh no. But hey, I wanted to address something with my chat real quick. Is it okay if I just have you wait like 30 seconds a minute? Can you do that for me, buddy? You can maybe whip out some crayons, maybe some like polka dot paper, draw me a picture. You know what I mean? Could you do that, Jordan?
That's why I'm muted.
Perfect. Okay, awesome. For the 6,000 people in here, what is going on? First and foremost, make sure that we are double tapping away in that phone screen. And secondly, I wanted to go over something with you all. So yesterday, I spread some misconceptions on live that I A, want to take accountability for, but then B, also like inform y'all that I was completely fucking wrong about that and like the harm in which that could cause. And I feel incredibly morally obligated to not only like accept accountability and apologize, but also to correct it. Because I don't want people watching my lives believing this my misconception that I held to be the case yesterday. So at the end of the live, I had a guest come up, and he was talking about what the fuck is his name? Robert Byrd. And Robert Byrd is an ex-KKK member, and I was under the impression that Robert Byrd spent the second half of his life, 60 years, as a civil rights activist, and then died a man that had Obama, the first black president, speaking at his funeral, calling him a friend. And after I got off the live, I did some deeper research on Robert Byrd, and that wasn't true. What I said was wrong. And I wanted to not only just let you all know that, but also apologize for spreading that misconception, because that misconception holds so much harm in it. You know, it's so frequently that white people will kind of erase a lot of harm in not only the history of America, but on the global stage, and rewrite a narrative to depict these evil and decrepit people as someone that is deserving of respect. And yesterday I was a white person doing that, and I'm sorry, you know, like I feel really bad for that, because I'm sure that there's still like a couple hundred people that were watching that live that aren't watching right now. And I wish that I could, you know, tell everybody that that was a false misconception that you shouldn't believe. And, you know, I just guess I'd go ahead and roll over, you know, the deeper research that I did, because after I got off that live, I was looking up Robert Byrd on YouTube to see if there's any interviews about how this guy dedicated the second half of his life to civil rights activism, or maybe like books that he wrote throughout his career, or a nonprofit organization that he ran to end racism, or all this gallant work that I was under the conception that he did to, you know, become a better person. And all I found was like an interview from the early 2000s when he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm not racist anymore. If I could vote on the Civil Rights Act today, I would not vote against it. I'd vote for it." And it's like, dude, like fucking hell, no. That is not civil rights work. That is just a member of our Congress politician, being a politician, just going with the status quo. And I was so totally off. And on top of apologizing for my misconception, also B, I do think that Obama and Biden did something wrong by speaking of him so kindly at his funeral. You know, like, especially looking at Obama, you know, like that's someone that I see as like a figure of authority, a figure of true information, that is going to depict like reality to the best of his ability. And, you know, I feel like a lot of that conception came from like the eulogy given by both him and Biden alongside conversations that I had in the past. But yeah, no, to the guest yesterday that came up and was like, Biden did this. Can you condemn it? And I didn't condemn it. Well, I'd like to condemn it now. And I'm sorry for not doing, the proper amount of research on Robert Byrd before I spoke about him on live. But yeah, I guess let's go ahead and hear from Jordan about why he thinks men are better at leading than women. Go ahead and unmute that mic and tell me why men are
The way
better at
you
leading than
simp
women.
is just crazy to make $1.
What the fuck? I'm simping? No, I'm correcting
All
myself.
people are
Dude.
equal today. There's no institutional racism whatsoever.
Okay, my headache is so back. All right, here's a really easy way to drill down systemic racism in America today. I think that black people have a significantly lower amount of opportunity compared to white people in society today. And this is one way to understand systemic racism. And we could evaluate it. We see that only 5% of Fortune 500 CEOs are black. Meanwhile, 16% of the overall population is black. We see that the average white American has higher socioeconomic standards on average compared to the average black American. We see that black women are significantly more like to die giving birth compared to white women because of medical racism. My question to you is, if this isn't explained through a lack of opportunity caused by systemic racism, how do you explain these facts?
It's your same talking points over and over. And if you want to bring up numbers, 52% of the crime is committed by black people, which make up 13% of the population. Can you explain that?
Yeah, I can't explain it as being false. You're just a victim of racist propaganda.
You're telling me the people sitting in jail arrested for these crimes, assault, unaliving, possession, all this stuff, it's unjust and they shouldn't be sitting
Yes,
there.
because 15% of the
they got
population,
caught.
aka black people, account for 45% of the exonerations in our criminal justice system.
You're talking about exonerations, which happen to all races, but it's on a very small number compared to the people
If the
that are convicted.
disproportionate amount of individuals that are black that are exonerated doesn't matter, why
So
would
what
your
per- what
original fact,
percentage
even if it were true, matter? Like,
of all
it's
the
just
people
so
convicted of a crime, what
fucking
percentage
crazy
is
to me.
exonerated? You're
Like,
talking less than 1%.
Of those in which are exonerated, 45% of those individuals would account for black individuals in America. And then secondarily, if we were to see any disproportionate crime stat beyond that, it could be explained by a socioeconomic well-being. As I already stated, the average white American has a higher socioeconomic standing compared to the average black American, which would account for higher crime rates. However, they're not as high as described by the 1553% statistic, as that is simply evaluating arrests. And it does not account for exonerations. However, Jordan, I asked you a very crystal clear question, but of course, you as a beta male just
I
called
said
it a
that to get
talking
up
point.
here, to get your attention.
Hey, Jordan, I'm going to need you to
answering
go
it.
ahead and put the binky in it. Know your place. So I gave you a very crystal clear question, and then instead of responding, you just did that relatively.
I just answered you. I said that to get up here. So
We're going to put a binky in it. So I
You don't
asked you a
allow
very
people to
clear
talk.
question. I don't allow people to talk when I'm talking. Yeah, holy shit, I'm not a pushover. Wow, sue me. Anyways, going back to what I wanted to say, I asked you a very clear question, right? I talked about the disproportionate amount of white individuals in leadership positions in America today compared to black individuals, as well as I brought up a disproportionate, or a higher level of the average socioeconomic well-being for the average white American compared to the average black American. If we can't explain this through like society, like scrutinizing black individuals in these roles by uplifting white individuals in these roles, while also counting for systemic racism, how do we explain it? Like, do you literally believe that white people are more capable of performing in positions of leadership, et cetera, compared to black individuals?
it comes down to culture. Like Ben Shapiro says, it's very simple. It's two
Okay.
different cultures who have different values.
Holy fucking shit. So, Jordan, you as a racist white guy, what the fuck do you think
How is
you
that
know about
racist?
black culture in America?
How is that racist?
I'm just like, that's like the first thing that comes to my head every single time I hear that. They're like,
How
oh,
is that
black
racist?
culture sucks. What the fuck do you know about black culture? No.
They commit crimes at
You
higher
have
rates.
unironically never been friends with a black person in your life.
How would you know?
Unironically never, ever been friends with a black person in your life. Because if you had the capability of being a sentient, rational, average individual that doesn't predicate so much drastic weight on racism, like just this, like, it's fucking gross. like you are definitely incapable of having a friend in which is black. What the fuck could you possibly know about black culture in America?
Look at the statistics. Actually, white people are at the bottom of today's society when you add in DEI when it comes to education and jobs. Those are the two things that
What?
decide
DEI when
a
it comes to
person's
education? Are you
success.
talking about affirmative action?
Yes, that as well.
White
You
women
look at
benefit the
colleges.
most from
Colleges-
affirmative action, dummy.
White women do benefit from it. White men are at
The
the bottom.
most. White women
When it
benefit
comes-
the most from affirmative action. What the fuck are you talking about? I have
When it
like
com-
no clue what you're saying. What so fucking ever? Wait, I have a question. So this
Don't
whole
let me
thing,
answer.
you're already saying that black culture causes black individuals in America today to commit so much crimes. After just completely ignoring my explanation is how it would relate to A, exoneration rates, and then B, lower socioeconomic standards on average caused by slavery and its aftermath and systemic racism today. So I just want to ask you a parallel question. So if you think it's the culture of black individuals in America today that cause a disproportionate higher amount of crime, would you say it's the culture of men in America today that cause men to commit 95% of all violent crimes?
I don't disagree with your fact that men commit violent crimes.
Oh, so is there a massive cultural issue amongst all men in America?
It'd be just like SA. Men commit SA at a much higher rate
So
than women.
can you just answer my question? Is
I just did.
is there just a broken culture amongst all men in America that needs to drastically be fixed, and it is just so bad for everybody, and men just suck, quite frankly? Can you just,
Well, you have to look at the
can you tell me
statistics.
about that?
Men are stronger individuals, but if you look at the statistics, what is out of how many men commit violent crimes or violent acts?
95%
going
of all
off
violent
topic.
crimes are committed by men, and then secondarily, you're saying that they do it because of additional physical strength. That's not true. Men even dominate in violent
It's
crimes
wrong.
that
I'm not
require
saying it's
physical
right.
strength, such as like cyberbullying with threats of violence.
You're trying
Men
to
once again
switch over to a
absolutely
new topic.
didn't outplay women in the context of like committing cyberbullying with threats of violence disproportionate to women. However, like my question would be here: is this just a cultural issue amongst all men?
I don't disagree with that you brought up that men do the violent crime, but you're
That's not
trying
the
to
question
switch
that I asked
away
you.
from our original topic, what we're talking about.
So we're actually just disputing the logic as a
What
whole by
percentage-
wrapping it
what
in an
percentage
analogy.
of men-
Are you going to go ahead and answer my question?
Well, I'm trying to answer it by asking you a question.
No,
What percentage-
so a question doesn't answer a question. My question was, do you believe that there's a cultural issue which exists amongst all men?
I mean, I would say no.
Okay, so if it's not a man's culture that's causing men to commit 95% of violent crimes, it's definitely not a black person's culture.
But
that is
that's where you
causing
have to
black
look
people
at
to not
what
even
percent-
commit 55% of crimes, because in
Wanna have a
stating that
conversation?
quote unquote fact, you deny the other fact that they also account for 45% of exonerations, as well as you have to account for.
You think you're so cool. You're balding in the back of your head, holding a mic over talking people.
So that's what people do when they start to lose the debate. Good
But
to
you
know
won't let
that
me
you don't
talk.
have a. Don't,
So
good
what
to know
it
that you
comes
don't
down
have a
to is the
response.
percentage of men committing these crimes, which is, since you brought it up,
I said 95% of all violent crimes are committed by men.
I understand that. What percentage of men do violent crime?
What percentage of men do violent crime? Like
Like you and I haven't committed a violent crime. I assume you haven't. So what percentage of men
Darling, I
commit
appreciate
violent?
you for the $5 on Venmo. I don't know the crime rate amongst men in America.
Well, there you go. It's not a big issue. Like obviously there's issues, but it'd be at the bottom of issues that we're facing as a country or individually.
You
Like,
don't
you
think
try to bring race
you
as
don't
this
you
big
don't
issue.
think
It's not.
you don't think that 9.5 out of 10 violent crimes committed in America is a big issue.
You think women would do more violent crime? Violent crime is wrong, but what I'm trying to say is,
Well, I don't
what
even understand
percentage-
what that statement meant or how it had to relate to.
You're the one that switched from the race topic, but if you want to talk about this, you brought it up. Look up how.
So just to make it so incredibly clear to the guest on the live, you don't think that 9.5 out of 10 violent crimes committed in America today or historically are a big issue at all? So, I mean, essentially what you're saying is you don't think violent crime's an issue.
It's definitely an issue, but where are you ranking it at? There's more issues facing the country or cities, what's going on, things of that nature. You're always going to have crime. You want to lower it. But that's what I was getting at.
So you said that it's not a big issue. So what are the bigger issues that would make it like fail as being small in comparison?
For a country? I mean, that's why I asked you, like, what is the violent crime rate per
So you can't
individual,
even
and what would
answer
you
my
want it to
fucking
be?
question. Sorry, Jordan. Just because of your like inability to answer
Yeah.
literally anything I ask of you, and then just like spurting off of words, we're gonna move on to the next guest. But I do really appreciate you for coming up. We're gonna get our next guest up in here, ladies and gentlemen. We got Thompson loading into the live, y'all. I do have a couple people to thank here, so everybody just do give us a minute. For the 6.3 thousand people in the stream here today, guys, make sure that we are double tapping away in that phone screen. Let's go and get Charlie up here. Nicole, thank you so much for the $5 on Venmo, saying love you so much. I love you as well, Nicole. Darlene with a $5 on Venmo, saying thank you for being you. I appreciate that, Darlene. As well as Georgia with the $2 on Venmo, and Erica with the $2 on Venmo. I appreciate you guys so very much for the love. And what is going on, Charlie? Did you vote for Trump?
I like minors.
I apologize for that. We're gonna move on to our next guest. Jesus Christ. Andres, thank you so much for the $50 donation on PayPal. I really appreciate you for the love, Andres. That means the absolute world to me. That is ANDRIS. I want to see at least 500 big W's for Andres down below in that comment section. Oh my god, dude. My headache is so bad, and we're only like 20 minutes into the stream. Hey, what's up? Did you vote for Trump?
No.
Okay, well, I do appreciate you for coming up. We're just looking to debate Trump supporters. Spam MAGA down below in that comment section if you do want to join up. Let's go and get our next guest up the box right now, ladies and gentlemen. What's going on? Did you vote for Trump?
I did.
And why'd you do that?
For a lot of reasons, but this is the only thing I'm going to say is that I just don't understand the reason why we have so many problems within society today in the world with the difference between Trump versus Biden or whoever it is the conversations that we have. And I'm just curious as to why you go about these conversations the way that you do.
Because I like fact and logic and critical thought.
No, but there's also a way to be mature about it and to open up a platform like you do, which I respect, and I think it's a great conversation to have as to why people vote for how they are.
Macro,
But
so
there's a way to go
secondarily,
about
something I
it.
do on my platform is I match the energy that is thrown at me. Like I don't let myself get
No,
worked
for
over.
sure.
I'm more than willing to have a very calm and mature conversation with someone that is calm
Gotcha.
and mature. But it's like you're expecting me to talk taxes with a 3-year-old.
No,
That's
I
a
get it.
paralleled analogy
Yeah.
to a lot of the people
Yeah,
that come
no,
on
I
live.
no, I for, no, I
But
for sure get it.
why'd
So
you vote for
you've had a
Trump?
lot of I did. I was just gonna say you've had a lot of viewers that are both Trump. Obviously, you're talking to Trump people, but are incompetent of answering questions that you want them to answer, and you're going into debate. No, I'm saying I'm talking on like
Holy
my
fuck.
behalf of like voting for Trump people, but
Can you just tell me why you voted for Trump? Let's have a debate about that.
no, I'm not going to. I'm more than happy to do that another time. It's just that the way they're going about it is very immature, and if you
Macro, with
want
all due
to
respect,
have
I
an
think that
open
you're being immature.
conversation, if you want,
Like,
okay,
and
that's
the reason
fine.
that I say that is because you're like, oh, Dean, you have to do X, Y, and Z to be better and to have open conversation. But then you're like, no, I'm not going to have open conversation. Is it because you know that there's not a defensible view insofar as why you
I'm
should vote for
not.
Trump?
I'm just saying that the reason why we're having issues in the world is that people aren't open to conversation without having to be manipulated. So
Can you explain
I
to me what
think
that means? Because I don't understand that
I'm
sentence.
I'm open to conversation while it's if you I would love to if you would stop interrupting me. That's another part of it is you don't let people talk unless they're
Sorry, you have a bad connection.
saying what you want them to say.
You had a bad
So
connection. I promise I said that after you'd said quote unquote manipulized, and it sounded like you were done speaking, but then you just continued to, which is no worries. I didn't mean to interrupt you though, but go ahead.
I appreciate that. Thanks. Sorry, I really do have a bad connection. I live in the middle of nowhere, so that's also probably why. But I just want to say that I appreciate your platform and what you're doing, but just to be able to have an open conversation without getting angry at each other would be a good thing.
Listen, I like the idea.
But that's all that goes both
Listen,
ways. That goes both
Macro,
ways.
I like
So
the idea of being able to have a conversation with someone without having emotions involved. But it's like that's coming from a place of privilege as someone that isn't personally impacted by 99% of Trump's policy. Like, how can you expect a Palestinian to not get emotions involved after Donald Trump calls for the ethnic cleansing of Gaza last night? How can you expect a woman to speak about these things without emotions involved after Kamala Harris lost the election and 60 great victims per day will be continued to be denied access to abortion in 10 of our 50 states? Like, there's just so many like pivotal issues that exist in America today, supported by 50% of our country, that are incredibly not just anti-American but anti-human. We should have emotions involved with these things. I think that it is, if anything, the truest depiction of how one should react. Like, I understand that in the position I stand in, it's important for me to try my best not to involve emotions because I want to convey the truth with nothing but fact and logic, and not overcomplicate it with an expression of how I feel on the inside. However, for like 99.999% of other people, they should have their emotions involved because at the end of the day, it is emotions that dictate who's in control. And I feel like the 50 or so percent of Americans that voted for Trump in this election on the basis of their emotions and their emotions alone should understand that the most.
True. I respect it. I'm not coming on here to debate. I just wanted to make sure that we're on a platform to discuss rather than get angry at each
Why
other.
don't you
I
want
know
to
it's
debate me?
very easy to do. What'd you say?
Why don't you want to debate me?
I don't care to. I just
Why
wanted
not?
to.
What if I could convince you that you are like perpetuating a significant amount of harm through your political beliefs?
You can tell me what you want, but that's not what I did. That's literally not my position right now, though. That I came on here for.
Well, I mean, like, for instance, if someone told me that, like, Dean, you are perpetuating a very high amount of harm with the beliefs
I didn't
that
say
you
that
hold to
though.
be true. If you're gonna ask me to not interrupt you, I'd appreciate it if you didn't interrupt me. But if someone told me, Dean, you are perpetuating so much harm with your beliefs, like, I would probably be willing to, at the bare minimum, hear them out insofar as why, and not just be, you know, like a party loyalist that doesn't really care about the facts and just wants to feel comfortable. But she ran away, so we're going to move on to the next guest. Everybody give us a minute. If you are MAGA, make sure to hop in that queue, ladies and gentlemen. Spam MAGA down below in that chat. We got our next guest, Jacko, loading up into the live. Jacko's been talking shit in my comment section for like a week. They never join. Unfortunate. Let's go and get Matt up here as well. I have a very, very, very bad headache today. I just want to point that out. It's really bad today, and I'm hoping that it just kind of goes away. I guess we'll see. Matt, what's going on? Did you vote for Trump?
Yeah, I voted for Trump.
Oh my gosh. Why did you vote for the worst presidential candidate of your life?
I wanted to see the wars ended, and it looks like that's happening. So,
Which wars?
The war in Gaza and the war in Ukraine.
Dude, holy fucking shit. He literally wants to ethnically cleanse Gaza. He's calling for Egypt and Jordan to take in Palestinians. And he doesn't really know when/if they'll return. And then he also wants to send Israel more weapons to kill more people. It's so insanely out of touch. Did you know that Hamas has offered Israel 8 ceasefire agreements over the course of the last 2.5 years? And did you know the ceasefire agreement that they actually agreed to was the same one that Biden offered a handful of months ago, and then Trump told Israel to not accept it until after the election? Also, he started a new trade war with Colombia, and we could expect many more on the way with his blanket tariffs.
I think Trump will be way better for the country. I mean,
Yeah.
he was already the president the first time. Biden was a shit show, dude. I voted for Hillary. I voted for Barack Obama twice. I'm a registered Democrat. I mean, I'm not blind. I can see the shit show that it was the past 4 years. I voted
Matt,
for Hillary because I thought she would be good because Bill Clinton was a good president.
I think that what you were blind to
I'm not
is
blind.
a
I'm blind.
nuanced-
I
One
was.
moment. I think what you're blind to is a nuanced understanding of our government and policy and what the executive branch of our government does. Like, for instance, you just called, the Biden-Harris administration a quote-unquote shit show. Would you be able to name one policy that they influenced to get past that was bad?
I don't want to go into the policies. I don't. It's all that's ever requested of everybody that I see talking about. Oh, what policy did
So
they
then
do?
how do you
Blah,
know
blah,
that the
blah.
administration was a shit show? Are
I
you just going to
saw
say
it.
because bad things happen in the country?
No, they can't control that.
So then why were they a shit show?
The shit show that is all around the world.
Oh, okay, so you are just associating things that not just happen in the country, but happen on the global stage with being caused by the U.S. president.
Absolutely. When you're the world power leader, it matters.
So is
Whether
Donald
you
Trump
think
to
it does or
blame-
not, it matters.
So is Donald Trump to blame for the global pandemic as it started under his administration?
There was nothing nobody could do about that.
Okay, so what could have Biden and Harris done about Russia's invasion of Ukraine that they didn't?
Well, they could have not pushed NATO and tried to get Ukraine in it and acted like that was the big deal.
So we know that Russia didn't invade Ukraine because they had wanted to join NATO. In fact, Lithuania and Estonia joined NATO as well as they neighbor Ukraine. Sorry, not Ukraine, Russia.
Do you want to hear what the next big left is going to be? I can go ahead and tell you. When the war's over in Ukraine and Russia, it's going to be, oh, Putin just did it to make Trump look good. That's what the story's going to be.
You're not responding to anything that I said. How many branches of government are there?
3.
There's actually 4.
What?
There's not 3. There's 4.
4? Oh, 4. Oh, counting the president.
Sorry, there's fucking 3 presidents. I just knew that you guessed that, so I wanted to.
I didn't guess that. Judicial.
I knew that you guessed that, so I wanted to prove that you guessed that. So
No, I didn't. I mean, I trusted you. I didn't guess that.
Shit.
It's okay.
Okay. Well, man, listen, if you're not willing to have a conversation with me about like policy, maybe you'll entertain a conversation about character. Would you ever vote?
I won't. No, I won't back up Trump's character. I think he's awful.
Wait, if you think he has a bad character and you don't
Absolutely.
care about policy, so what metric do you use?
He is a
to
better
consider
president.
Based on what? If it's not based on character or policy, what the fuck is?
He's already been the fucking president.
So he's a better president because
4
he's already
years.
served in administration.
Listen, I can talk bad about Trump.
What is that?
do this
Like,
shit. It's
what?
not hard.
What the fuck? Wait. So I have a question. So is the incumbent always a better choice than the newcomer?
No.
So
Biden
then
was
why would the fact
terrible.
that Trump has already served an administration make him better than Harris?
Because he was a better president.
How do you know he was a better president if you don't know?
I
his
was
policy?
alive. I lived through it.
You lived through what exactly?
I lived through Trump's presidency. I lived through Biden's presidency.
So, okay, let me ask you a question. If you just think that things that happen in the country are to blame on the presidency, do you think the highest level of unemployment that we've had in 100 years in April of 2020 of 14.8% was Trump's fault?
No, it was COVID's fault.
So then what the fuck do you mean you quote-unquote live through the effects of their presidency if you could identify that external variables can influence things to happen in our economy? Like, you have to isolate for external variables
Okay,
that could have
fine.
had
If
effects
you
on
wanna
other
talk about
things
external
happening in the
variables, that's
country
fine.
by naming the
Variables.
policy or executive order in which they influenced to get passed that was good or bad.
Oh, I didn't hear the last part you said. But if you want to talk about that, then we can. We can just say that Biden was the most unlucky president ever. We can say that then.
So what is one bad thing
Either
that Biden
one.
did?
Our country was shit.
Yeah, be more
Have
specific.
you tried to buy a house? My house is paid for. I didn't get affected by it.
So an
But I've got a
increase-
cousin that's building a house. Have you tried to fucking buy a house?
So an increase in housing prices is bad. So did you know that
Clearly.
Kamala Harris was the only one of the 2 candidates that
To
had
offer
policy
$25,000?
to reduce the pricing of new houses?
Yeah, a bunch of bullshit.
What's
Bunch
bullshit
more
about
inflation.
it? Would you be able to tell me what's bullshit about it, or are you just going to give me
It
the
just
Fox
adds to
News talking
inflation.
point? So government spending does add to inflation. However,
And Trump's looking to cut back
However,
hugely.
it's the case that Trump's proposed economic policy is more expensive than Kamala Harris, and B, Kamala Harris's economic policy was self-sufficient, paying for itself over the course of 10 years, including a $25,000 subsidy for first-time home buyers to buy newly developed properties. And then C, right, it's not just the case that Kamala Harris had policy to reduce the pricing of houses, but Donald Trump had policy to increase them.
Kamala was never going to win. That was a joke.
Okay, bro, this is fucking embarrassing. I'm here for actual discussions. Can you leave? Jennifer, thank you for the $20 on PayPal. I really appreciate you so much for the love, Jennifer. Let's get at least 200 big W's for Jennifer down below in that comment section. Thank you so much,
Have a good
Jennifer,
day.
as well as
Sorry about
Eli.
your
Bye.
loss.
Thank you so much for the $1 on Venmo. I really appreciate that. Jacqueline with $1 on Venmo as well. And Chris with a $50 donation on Venmo. Let's get at least 500 big booms and W's for Chris in that chat while we are loading our next guest up into the live. Massive big W's for Chris, as well as Blown. I appreciate you so much for the $10. Massive big W's for Blown and Nicole with a $5 and Darlene with a $5 as well. Thank you everybody so much for the love. Let's get some massive big W's for Chris and a massive big W for all of the donors. I appreciate you guys so much for the love. We got our next guest, Donnie Don, loading up into the live. You know what, Blown? I'm very quickly starting to really like Blown. I've been hearing that he's been running some of his own lives. I gotta check them out here. What's up, Donnie? Did you vote for Trump?
I did vote for Trump. I moved here when I was 14.
Oh, nice, man. What time is it?
It's 7:24,
Nice. What state are you in?
Texas.
Texas. I think there's a part of Texas that is central. I'll take your word for it. Why did you vote for Trump?
I voted for Trump because the economy was so much better under Trump. Housing prices were cheaper.
Okay. I'm just going to run the same points on you that I ran on the last guest. If you care about the pricing of houses, you should have voted for Harris. Harris had policy to decrease the pricing of houses. Trump had policy to increase the pricing of houses.
Okay, can I just bring up another point, Dean?
I don't really want to allow you to pivot.
Okay. Housing prices were cheaper under Trump. At the end of his term, it was 85,000 to buy. It was 85,000. You needed to earn 85,000 a year to buy a house. Now it's 135,000.
Yeah, you're right. This doesn't discount or respond to anything that I said.
The administration is responsible for how much it is under their term.
I don't think so. I think that external variables influence the higher pricing of houses under Biden and Harris, such as the pandemic and the inflation in which it onset. And if you just want to say that a president is responsible for anything that happens in the country while they're in charge, is Trump responsible for the highest level of unemployment in the last 100 years?
Do I think Trump? Why do you think Trump is responsible for the unemployment?
Well, I want to make it clear I don't. I know that COVID caused it, but you're using your logic that a president is responsible for anything that happens in the country while they're in the executive branch. When you yield the conclusion that he's responsible for that high rate of unemployment, as well as just responsible for the pandemic as a whole? I think this is where he runs. Yo, Stein with the $125 donation on PayPal. Oh my gosh, dude! Thank you so much for the love, Stein. But Stein, you have been showing so much love, not just to me, but also to Parker. I really appreciate you very sincerely from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much for the love. I want to see at least 2,000 big W's for Stein down below in that chat, literally right now. Holy crap, it means the world. Thank you so much, Stein. You have been so incredibly kind. In fact, I want y'all to be spamming W's for Stein in the chat for at least the next 10 minutes, as well as Omar with the 2 cents on Venmo saying just my 2 cents. That was fun, Omar. Hello, Jordan. Did you vote for Trump? Jordan! Kind of gave me a headache. Headache.
Hello.
Hi, did you vote for Trump?
I did.
Oh, Jordan. Why?
I'm going to go with what the other people say, like living in the last few years, I saw a real difference. But I mainly want to talk about abortion. That's what I'm here for. Because I am pro-choice.
You mean
I'm
pro-life?
I'm pro-choice.
So then why would you vote for the guy that's actions directly resulted
hear
in
me
a
out,
consequence?
hear me out,
One moment of 60 great victims per day being denied access to abortion. And
Because I feel like this. I'm pro-choice because I don't want anyone telling me what to do with my body, vaccine, abortion, anything. And I'm not going to tell anybody about theirs. But I am going to say this. Why are we not talking about the people that can, like, there's birth control, there's Plan B, there's condoms. Why are we not talking about just what we don't even have to talk about abortion? There's things to eliminate that. Like, why aren't we
Wait,
talking about it?
are you okay with abortion being federally legal all 9 months?
No, God, no. I think there should be stipulations on it. I think
So you're pro-choice for everything but abortion?
no, I am. You can laugh, but you're laughing at someone who has
man.
had one.
What
And
are
you're
your
laughing at someone
what-
who has made a choice and would never make that choice again. So you're laughing at a woman who had to make a choice and would never do it again because of what they had to be put through. You're an actual bitch.
Hey man, I would be an
Why
actual
would you
bitch
talk
if
to
I
a woman
look.
like that?
Jordan,
Why would you speak and why would you laugh
listen,
at someone when I've actually had to go through that and then you actually go through it and you're like, wow, that's not the right way. There's other ways to go about it. And you don't
Jordan,
look at it like that. But I am pro-choice.
you're right.
I'm
One
not going to
moment.
judge someone that
One
gets one
moment.
because I have gotten one. But I'm also not going to, like, there
Listen.
should be rules and stipulations.
Hey,
on it.
Jordan. I would obviously be a bitch if I laughed at you because of like traumatic experiences that
Right,
you've had.
you are.
That would
You
be
just
wrong.
did. You laughed and you had no idea what my experience was.
Are you
So
serious?
you go ahead and laugh at women who you have no idea what their experience was before you even
Wait. I want to
You're
be
an asshole.
I want to be so
And that's why
incredibly
people
clear.
don't like you. It's because you're an asshole and you don't listen to
Okay.
what real things are.
I want to be so clear when I say this. I laughed at you because you said, I'm pro-choice. There should be no vaccine mandates, whatever the fuck, RNC talking points. But then you're like, abortion should be banned.
No, abortion should not be banned.
What's your stance on abortion?
My stance on abortion is if you find out at like 6 weeks, okay, here's my thing. I'm nobody to judge anybody. You have to do what you have to do at the end of the day. That's not our
By the way,
our place
I
to
just want to
judge
interrupt
or
you.
put on anybody.
Don't call me like
But
an ASS hole or a BITC.
Oh, I get it. I just got a thing.
Yeah,
I just got a
because of
thing.
because
Yeah,
of the
right.
flag. That's why you got it. I'll
And
let
like
you stay up here.
I think
Just
that's
don't
like
use
where we
English.
all like kind of bounce back and forth. Is like a lot of people, and I'm not Republican. I'm more moderate. I'm very liberal with my like social standards, but like conservative with my financial.
Hey,
and I
Jordan,
think that's
you're
what a
all
lot
over
of
the
people
place.
are.
You are so totally all over the place.
I know I am because there's a lot to talk about.
So
Because,
I asked
I
you
am
about.
pro-choice. You want to get an abortion, you get one. But I don't think 9 months is like
So where do you draw your
acceptable.
line?
I draw my line. I know as a woman who has had one, you know by 6 to 8 weeks you're pregnant. And
Yeah.
if you need to make
So
that
that's the
choice at that
earliest you
point,
can
make
see
that fucking
pregnancy.
choice at that point. But do not hold it back 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 months. That's unacceptable, right?
So first of all, that 6 to 8 week mark, so that's like the earliest point in which like the typical woman can tell that she's pregnant.
And
But
most women can.
that doesn't account for like the non-typical woman as well as ectopic pregnancies.
I've had
And then
one of those as well.
Jordan, this whole interruption thing really has to stop. I think it's, what is it? Like 7 weeks, that's the earliest time
6,
that a
actually.
pregnancy.
It's 6. You can get a heartbeat at 6 weeks.
Jordan, how old are you?
I'm 34.
So then don't act like you're 3 or 4.
I'm not 3 or 4.
I know, you're 34, so act like it.
And I do.
No, you don't. I asked you not to interrupt me, and then you interrupted me.
I thought we were having
like
a dialogue. Sorry, I'm sorry.
A dialogue requires both individuals to be able to flesh out their thoughts.
And I was listening.
You cannot listen while you speak. Just give me just give me a minute, okay, Jordan? Here's my thing about abortion. Tell me that you don't really value the fetus that much. You should place this and then act in accordance with an expectation of efficientness and go and immediately get an abortion. If they don't do that, they're doing something wrong. All that you're telling me is that the reason you think some abortions are wrong have nothing to do with the intrinsic life or value of the fetus and all to do with the mental thoughts and attitudes of the mother. So you're not pro-choice, you're just pro-controlling women, and this virtue signal of care about the life of the unborn is fucking old,
Untrue.
incorrect, and embarrassing, because the typical Republican will come up on my live and expose to me how they truly feel.
Well,
Like
that's why I'm
imagine
not
this. Like your grandma gets murdered in her sleep by a burglar, right? And then I come up to you and I ask you why that's wrong. Like, obviously, you're going to be like, that was wrong because my grandma fucking died, right? And if you truly also valued the life of a fetus or a baby the same as your grandma, you should expect your answer to be, well, we should ban abortion at this certain point, make it illegal, and it's wrong because the fetus is dying. Instead, you, Jordan, and a lot of other individuals like you are like, no, it's actually wrong because the mother should have gotten it earlier and they're so irresponsible.
No.
You just want
That's
to
not-
punish women that you deem as irresponsible.
Oh, I don't
and
punish
also
anybody.
force a child into their household, punishing the child by byproduct, and it makes no goddamn sense.
But here's my main point is why do we go straight to abortion and not talk about the things to prevent abortion?
Yeah, because Republicans don't like that. Republicans
but
don't
why
want
if
sex
the
ed in
Repub-
school.
again, I'm not-
Republicans
I'm not
don't want
talking to you.
contraceptives in the health office.
I'm not talking to
Republicans
you
don't
as
want
a
to
Republican.
federally
I'm
protect
talking to you as
access
just
to
a person.
contraceptives as well. Republicans don't
so
want to
then why-
advocate for universal health care to provide free access to
Then why can
contraceptives.
anyone
The
go get
only
Plan B?
reason why these
Then why
systems
can
don't
anyone go
exist
get
is
Plan
because
B?
of the
Why can
same
any
reason
woman go
that
get
people want
free
to
pu-
ban them.
Okay, I'm going to tell you this. Anybody can go get on birth control. If you have insurance, it's $0 on Nurex. If it's not, it's $15 on Nurex. If you want to go get a Plan B from HEB or whatever store you have in your state, you can go get it. Why are we so hyper fixated on abortion when there's things that can prevent abortion from the beginning?
Yeah, so I hear
And
what you're
again,
saying.
I'm not against abortion. I don't think it's for anyone to judge or anyone to choose for anybody. I think it's everyone's whatever, but I do think there should be stipulations on that. Like
You're
can't
just
abort a
confused,
fetus
and
at
I'd like
9.
to explain to you why
I'm
you're
not confused.
You are. You're confused because
I'm
there's
not
not
confused.
a single damn woman watching this live that is hyper fixated on getting an abortion. But we
There
should
are, but
all
that's
be
the whole
hyper
reason
fixated on ensuring that all 170 million American women and girls have the right to. Nobody wants to get an abortion. Abortions suck. It is the last means necessary to prevent an unwanted pregnancy. Nobody wants that. What everybody should want is for all to have access to it. And all of these things like that you're saying about, oh, well, we should also be talking about access to contraceptives. We should be talking about what you could do to prevent a pregnancy. We should be teaching individuals about what sex is and how to engage in it safely to prevent an unwanted pregnancy. These are all things that the Democrats do, but are unfortunately prevented from being propagated in mainstream media and the public schooling system, et cetera, because it's been politicized by the right. I absolutely believe that we should have greater levels of sex ed in public school, free access to contraceptives, et cetera. We as a society should try to decrease the amount of women that are getting abortions, not because getting an abortion is wrong, but because of how much it fucking sucks. And the fact of the matter is, when you don't vote for Kamala Harris, who would have increased the childhood tax credit, which would have reduced childhood poverty, when 55% of women that get an abortion is because they are not financially able to support a child, you cause more women to get abortions. When you don't support free access to contraceptives in schools, you cause more women to get abortions. When you say no sex ed regardless of the age, that's something that should be between a child and their parent, you cause more women to get abortions. That is all on the burden of the Republicans. Every single one of them. She fucking left. All right. Bye, Jordan. We're going to move on to the next guest. But while we do, I got a couple people to thank for your donations. Hey, Yasmin, thank you so much for the $25 on Venmo. That is so incredibly kind of you. Thank you so much for the love, Yasmin. Let's get at least 250 big W's for Yasmin in that chat. I really appreciate you. As well as Mulaney with a $20 donation on PayPal as well. Thank you so much. Saying, as a woman, she won't say this to another woman. I really appreciate you for the $20 donation. You guys are being incredibly kind today. Guys, thank you so much for the love. What's up, Thorne? Did you vote for Trump?
No, I just wanted to say, Dean, can I say something really quickly, please?
I'm so sorry. I am only looking to debate individuals that voted for Trump. I do appreciate you for coming up. We got 8.6 thousand people in here. What is going on, guys?
Oh my gosh! Please!
Okay, moving on to our next guest. Here we go, y'all. We got Joel loading up into the live, guys. Make sure that we're double tapping away on that phone screen. Let's try to get up to 2 million likes, y'all. What is up, Joel? Did you vote for Trump?
No, I didn't.
Okay, guys, what are we doing? What the fuck are we doing? Can we please follow rules? Here's the rules of the live, just to make sure we're all on the same page. I'm looking to debate Trump supporters. I repeat this every fucking 4 seconds, and for whatever reason, people don't hear it, or they just choose to ignore it. If you didn't vote for Trump, hop out of that queue. Please, 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 please. Spam MAGA in that chat if you just want to skip the line and come straight up into the live, because honestly, there's just so many people in there right now that aren't here to debate. So just spam MAGA in the chat if you want to skip that line. We're going to move on to the next guest. What is up, Taylor? Did you vote for Trump? Taylor, hello? Okay, Taylor left. That's why we're just going to pull from the chat. Hi, Allie. You vote for Trump?
Yes, I did.
Awesome. How old are you?
I'm 18.
Great. What year were you born in?
2006.
Awesome. Ashley, thank you for the $20 donation on Venmo.
I just want to say, first off, okay, I'm more independent, okay? I'm not necessarily conservative, and I'm definitely not liberal, okay? I grew up in a household that could not afford medical insurance, so you saying, like, can't afford birth control and all that, I agree with you, okay? Like, I agree with that.
Okay.
100%.
I hear you. Just give me...
However, when it came to, I've been on the live for a while, when we were talking about, like, black culture, like, that some guy says something about that, it ticked you off, but what do you know about black culture? Because all I know is that Kamala did nothing for the black race of Americans. The entire time she's, I don't know, been a politician, been vice president. I mean, it's just facts. I mean, like,
Okay.
it's true. What do you know about black culture? What do you know?
Very little. And I feel like it's important for all white people to recognize that, because so many people disrespect it without knowing a damn fucking thing. And not only is it racist, it's cringe and embarrassing. Okay? Right?
Yeah, I agree with you. Thank
But
you.
I do have to thank Ashley real quick for the $20 on Venmo. I really appreciate you so much for the love, Ashley. Let's get at least 200 big W's for Ashley down below in that chat right now. That is ASHLEE. Thank you so much for the love. Now, here's the thing about black people in America and the 2 administrations that were running for election. So I don't think that Democrats have done enough to specifically address black people in America. Not historically, not today. I think that we are in need of legislation that specifically addresses minority communities. But B, the byproduct of legislation propagated by Democrats has a significantly better impact on marginalized communities compared to the byproduct of legislation pushed through Congress by Republicans. For instance, Donald Trump's tax policy disproportionately benefits the ultra-wealthy while serving negatively to those that make less money through his tariffs. Meanwhile, Kamala Harris's tax policy was built just to give the average everyday American a higher level of purchasing power while addressing the needs of those that need it the most. The reason why Kamala Harris's proposed economic policy was better for black Americans compared to Donald Trump's is because the average black American has a lower socioeconomic standard on average compared to the average white American. My second point here is that 55% of women that get abortions do it because of financially related reasons. And on top, and building off of the fact that I just shared, that the average white American is richer than the average black American, this means that there will be a disproportionate amount of black women getting abortions. So when you overturn Roe v. Wade and you give the states the ability to ban it, you're disproportionately negatively disenfranchising black women.
I agree with that, but here's the thing. You know what? Okay, I just want to say how I grew up and how I lived. I'll be a first-generation college kid, okay? So when it comes to typical, like, when I hear certain things about unemployment, poverty, that kind of, like, it triggers me in a way. You know what I mean? Especially when people who think, like, that they know certain things about it, but they don't. And I know statistics is statistics. However, when it comes to abortions and, sometimes telling a woman how they feel, and I agree with that, healthcare, having to pay for healthcare sucks. It does.
Well, I'm confused on what your point is.
My point is, well, I think Trump Okay, he's not banning abortions. He's leaving that up to the state. So when people are saying, why'd you vote against your own rights when you voted for Trump? That's not true. Trump is not banning abortion. His
Donald
wife,
Tr-
Melania, is for abortion.
Leaving it up to the states bans abortion. Yeah.
No, it does not. Because guess what? Not all states have banned it, nor, I mean, not all states are
He
going
is
to.
directly
That's up to
responsible for
you
one out of
as
every
a,
three
that's up
women
to you as a
not
resident
having access
to
to
vote.
elective abortions today. I have a question. Robert E. Lee, the lead general of the Confederacy, was he
Yes.
like pro-slavery?
Okay, I mean, clearly he fought for the South, right? But he lived in a neutral state of Virginia, okay? He clearly fought for Confederacy, but I want to tell you something also. Did you know Abraham Lincoln asked him to be the general of the Union Army before the Confederate?
I did not know that. Would you answer my
Yes,
question
he
though?
did.
Yeah, Abraham Lincoln, listen, like he was the president, which inevitably led the Union into winning the Civil War and, banned slavery across the country. But Abraham Lincoln also said that like he wouldn't have banned it if it wasn't so political, right? He wasn't like the great guy he was chopped up to be.
I know, and
But
that's when
I did ask
corruption
you a
comes
question
up
here.
into our
I did
education
ask you
system.
a question. Was Robert E. Lee pro-slavery?
If he owned slaves, yeah. I mean,
No, Robert E. Lee actually.
I didn't think
I'm pretty
he.
sure I've heard like all the. Let's just assume that he didn't. Let's assume that Robert E. Lee didn't personally own slaves, but he led the Confederacy into the Civil War. I'd say he's pro-slavery because he led the fucking Confederacy. What about you?
I mean, yeah, but did you genuinely know that the reason why he also fought for the
Oh my
Confederacy? You
God, he's
wonder
pro.
why?
She's pro-Confederacy. Wow. Hey,
Are you
let's.
serious right now?
Yes, I am. But let's.
Oh,
What's your
wow.
birthday?
Okay. Okay. Wow.
What's your birthday?
September 8th,
Wow.
2006. How old are
September
you?
8th, 2006. I'm 20.
Okay, so yeah, you're not even that much older. Like, what are you talking about?
No, I'm just verifying that you're of age.
I know, but I'm just saying,
Okay, so
Robert
there's
E.
a
Lee, and
lot
you
of
can research this all you want,
one
okay?
second,
You
one
can
second.
research this
We
all
need we need
all
we need
you want.
to
Robert E.
we need
Lee,
to one moment,
can I tell
please.
you?
No,
See, like,
you
you're big on
can't.
interrupting.
I
You're big on
I'm
interrupting.
sorry, but this is a necessary interruption for the live. We have to confirm that the person that I'm speaking to is not a child. Um,
Okay.
and I mean that like seriously. I don't mean that metaphorically. I don't mean that in a demeaning sense. I mean that literally. I literally have to verify that you are 18
Did you go
years
on a
old.
DC trip when you were in 8th grade? I'm just curious. Like that's how I know my stuff about it all. Like I'm a big history person. I'm interested in stuff like that. I'm not for it. Are you serious?
So
And I
why
believe
do
genuinely from
her
time like that,
reposts?
that's why our educational system, when it comes to learning about
How do you
certain
guys know it?
stuff.
Dude, Allie, we got to clear this up first. Just give me a second. How do y'all in the chat know that she's underage? Because she gave a correct birth date, correct birth year. Are people just saying that? Well, she left. I guess you guys were right.